Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy KAIO and I'm back again this time to give you another One Piece video, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys my review of One Piece chapter 1003. Now there's quite a few things that I do want to go over, but first I must congratulate Oda on delivering another awesome chapter. Ever since chapter 1000 has come out, Oda's just been on his game. I'm not saying the stuff prior to that was like bad or anything, but ever since he's just been going into this battle, it's like he's just been saving things, stuff that he just wants to amaze us with, and yeah, he's doing it. Like, he's literally on his peak yet again. It's like, I just don't think this guy could ever come off his peak. There have been moments where, you know, it's been like really like bad with the pace and everything, but when Oda's on it, he's on it. But there is one thing, Oda, that I do want to address, but I'm going to save it for the end of the video because I don't know if I liked it or not. I really don't. So yeah, stick around for this and you guys will see exactly what I'm on about. But the stuff I do want to touch on first is CP0. Now, I like how Oda's introduced them yet again because it's been a long time since we've seen them. The last time we saw them was when they was actually talking to Orochi, like very early on in Wano. And now they're pretty much commentating on what's going on right now. And they seem to be praising Luffy and Kinemon more so than Kaido and that. Because when you look at it, they are right. They really are. When you look at how things are, you had 5,400 people and you had 30,000 people like to do with Kaido. Yet Luffy and that have only lost 400 people, so they're currently sitting at 5,000. Whereas Kaido and that, they've lost 3,000 people, so they're sitting at 27,000. And the way that CP0 was explaining it is that Luffy and Kinemon have had the better start. The ambush has worked, and the way that everything's going is looking more increasingly like they're going to take the win here and that Kaido's going to take the loss. But then there is something else they say. They say no matter if their top person, like the head, comes off, this battle isn't going to end because they know that it's going to, you know, go on further than Wano, like towards the end of One Piece. This is just going to spur everything because they even say that if you take out 2 of the 4 Yonko, which Luffy and Ko are probably going to do, and we know they will, it's going to cause a big stir around the whole entire world. Like, you think the Reverie stuff was big, like with Sabo and whatever's going on with that? This is just going to top that, like, by millions. Absolutely millions, especially when Big News Morgans gets his hands on everything and says, you know, Luffy is definitely... Well, even though he said that Luffy is a 5th Emperor, this is just going to confirm it. Because I think with a lot of other people, even though the Admirals know how strong Luffy is, I don't think they're expecting Luffy to take out 2 Yonko. And the fact that if it comes in the news that he's beaten 2 Yonko and is confirmed, that's then going to push like the Admirals to make their move. Because they're going to be like, this kid's getting closer and closer to becoming King of the Pirates. He's going to be probably even greater than Goldie Roger. And that's saying something, greater than Goldie Roger. But the fact that he's taken out 2 Yonko, when you compare that to the Rocks Pirates between Garp and Roger, and then them taking out a group that's like disgustingly powerful, and yet you're taking on 2 Yonko that are far superior than what they were back when they were literally on that crew, they're going to think that Luffy's even more dangerous. Not just Luffy, but Kid, Law, Zoro, all of those people within the worst generation, they're going to want to make a move, and this is going to cause the biggest stir in One Piece history, and I cannot wait. Oda has always said that he's going to end One Piece the way he wants to. And when you look at every single war, I've always said that One Piece is going to have the best war, and I can see it coming. You can already see it. Everything that Oda's prepping us with, just... It's like he was speaking through CP0. You know how he has those moments, it's like he's speaking through Doflamingo and he's explaining what's going on. I feel like he's explaining with CP0 what's going on here, and I loved it. I think that was probably the second best part of the chapter, but out of everything, it was the most informative, the most information you're going to get throughout this chapter, and it was the right way to technically end it off, apart from the big reveal right at the end, which is another thing I'm going to catch you guys up with, alongside the stuff with Luffy that I'm going to touch on near the end as well. And the other thing that they do bring up as well is Orochi's death. Now, there is 2 things you could take into consideration here, because we did see Orochi's head, but people brought up about his body and that his body isn't there. Now, the first being the one that we could just think, yeah, he's dead. And the second one is, where is his body? Because we only saw his head just get chopped off, and the body's nowhere to be found. And some people have speculated back then that Orochi is still alive. And then when you look at Orochi's devil fruit, he did have a lot of heads. And I've always referred to Orochi being like a sort of Disney villain. There is a film called Hercules. Now, if you guys are familiar with that or you haven't seen it, just look up Hercules versus the dragons. They're like dragons or snake things, but they sprout like snake heads. So every time Hercules cuts a head off, sprouts another head. And it just keeps continuously sprouting heads, like every time he keeps chopping all the heads off. And then soon there's like millions of the sodding things like in the heads, and he's just like, oh my god. Now if that is the case and Orochi is like a Disney villain, which seems very, very similar, then Orochi would have spattered a new head. Now, is that possible? Yes, because this is One Piece and it is very wacky, but it does sound a bit, is that possible? Because Orochi did lose his head. But then the way you look at it, this is like mythical stuff, and then you'd think that if you take something's head off, that's it. But no, that's not the case. So I want to leave that one open to you guys if you want to let me know in the comments section below and what you think of that, if Orochi is still alive and you think he's just sprayed another head and that he's roaming around somewhere and he's going to make his big surprise. Because when you think about it also this way, Orochi is just as big as Kaido in this because of the stuff that happened with Oden 20 years ago, and even plus 20 years ago as well, going back to when he was, when both of them were really kids, really, when you think about it, because even though Oden doesn't look like he's a kid when he's 18, and even then, like when you see some of the stuff, it's like, it's bizarre. Very bizarre you'd say he's 18 with the size of him, to be honest with you. It's crazy. So that's why I just refer to them as kids. Anyways, when you put all that together, it probably would make sense that you wouldn't really want to kill Orochi off. I don't see Oda wanting to do that just yet. I feel like he's got a bigger purpose, really. So I'm just going to leave it open to you guys and to myself until we actually got confirmation that he is dead or alive. And so, with that being said, I'm going to go a little bit back into the chapter because I want to talk about Zoro, and I'm pretty sure you guys want to hear me talk about Zoro anyway and my thoughts on him actually being able to cut Kaido. Now guys, I've always said I do not believe that Zoro will kill Kaido. Yes, it is very funny and it is a very funny meme, and there are some people that do want to believe it, and you know what? That's their opinion. If they think that Zoro's going to kill Kaido, is going to deal the deciding blow, then you know what? All the power to you. I'd still rather Luffy be the one to take him down, and if it happens after, you know what? So what? I mean, I think Kid's more likely to do it because Kid's that sort of person, but you never know with Zoro. Zoro's just Zoro. But anyway, I always did say that Zoro will cut Kaido. I've said that for like ages now, and he finally done it. And he proved it, that he is able to slice Kaido, because we see that one scene where, we'll talk about it later, with Luffy and his Haki business and his Gear 4. Obviously Luffy can't use Haki for 10 minutes, and so Zoro is having to aid him and save him, and then he has to save him as soon as Kaido decides to, you know, gulp him up. Doesn't swallow him, just catches him in his mouth. And you know what, I think that's going to be really cool to see that in the anime, just like the random, like that, just catches him. And then he comes in with a dragon rope twister. It looks sick as hell, and especially having Enma. Wow. And now Kaido has finally realised this, that it is actually Enma. I did say, whether it be in the next chapter or the chapters afterwards, that Kaido is eventually going to find out, and he does. And you should see the look on his face. I feel like he's going to get excited, and especially with the reveal at the end, I can see why he's excited, but I also will get to that because it is a huge reveal. It is great. I guess we always knew it was coming, but I guess we just wanted to see it with our own eyes. Anyways, back to Zoro. I kind of like the Zoro and Kaido clash. I think it was needed. I feel like you can't really have Zoro not clash with him and not do, you know, somewhat damage. I feel like the damage is needed, and the fact that you need to make Kaido realise he does have Enma. And I don't think that's going to be the last time we see Zoro do anything against Kaido, because I feel like there's going to be such a big battle where I feel like it is going to be between Luffy, Zoro and Kaido. I can see that happening now. I really do. And it's only because of things I saw in this chapter. Yes, Big Mom was trying to get involved, but Kid and Killer decided to go after Kaido, and then Law, out of all people, who I didn't expect, went after Big Mom. Counter shock. Loved it. Big Mom looked like she got affected by that. What are these, like, new generation on? I know that Law has, like, an OP Devil Fruit. Kid is OP, and he is impressing me. I feel like some people he's not really impressing, but he's impressing. I still feel like he's being very underrated. I still feel like there's a lot more to come from him. Zoro's doing his thing. Luffy is Luffy, that's all I can say. That's just Luffy for you. But it's nice to see everyone having their shot. Luffy still will get the most of the battle, but I actually like this a lot. I really wanted like a complete one-on-one with Luffy and Kaido, and I still feel like we will get that for the most part, just not yet. It's still very, very early on in the battle. I still think maybe 80%. I feel like there'll be a little bit more where it might just be Luffy and everyone else is just doing what they need to do, just sort of like working around him. But when you look at everything, Luffy's dealing the most damage, and so is Zoro. Zoro's doing a lot of damage. But the others, I feel like they're lacking a little bit. I don't know if that's just me, but I feel like we need to see more. As I said, I know Kid is doing what he can, and I do still feel like he's being underappreciated here, and I still think he's got a lot to prove. But I think you can see the drastic difference in everyone. Zoro has Enma, Luffy has Gear 4 and Rio, possibly Gear 5, I will bring that up. And of course, Law's just OP with his Devil Fruit. That's the way law works. He doesn't really need all this other crap. He's got injection shots, got a gamma knife, anything, the guy's doing it. Out of all of it, it's nice to see them have that clash. As I said, it's nice to see that Kaido is doing his own thing, and the fact that he challenged Zoro, which I thought was really funny, to a dragon twister. And the thing is, it's like they seem scared. Now, it is scary, don't get me wrong, taking on 2 Yonko and them just throwing everything out that they can. Anyone would be scared to go against them. But of course, Luffy's never scared. That's just Luffy for you. Anyways, one other thing before I do want to touch on the big, what have you been saving for us, is we finally got to see the rest of the Straw Hats, even though it was only a glimpse. That's what I wanted to see. That is all I wanted to see. I just wanted to see what everyone was doing, even though there was a speech going over it. I wanted to see what was going on. That is all. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more maybe soon. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get a little bit more. But you know what? Oda will just do what he needs to do, and we'll get it eventually. But for now, I'm happy. So, what am I annoyed with? So, as you guys know, it's the first time you're checking out the channel, you won't know this, but I'll leave a card at the top of the video. I did a video about Luffy and his Gear 5, and that as he mastered Gear 4. I said yes, he's mastered Gear 4. For the most part, everything that I've said that he's done, it's come true. But there's one thing that Oda done, and I do not know how to feel about it. It seems that Luffy is still suffering the haki business. I don't know why. Maybe that's one thing that Luffy can't master for some reason, even with Rio. Or maybe he's just putting out too much power and the Rio's just not used to it yet. Maybe he can just use normal base mastery attacks, like just in normal haki mode. But when he's using the Rio, maybe the Rio is 70-80% complete with that. Or maybe Gear 4 is not the master that I thought about. Maybe the majority is mastered. Maybe Oda's saving it for Gear 5. Because Oda has not ruled that out. And I did call this, Luffy most likely will bust out Gear 5 during this battle. And then in the SBS, what does he say about the whole 5G movement, like within the real world, and that Kaido is the strongest and that, you know, it's gonna need to happen. He's basically confirmed Gear 5 is gonna happen. So maybe Gear 5 is at mastery. Maybe Luffy felt like he needed to push that extra step and needed to go into Gear 5 and focus more on Rio, and that's where we're gonna get the majority of that. And you know, he's done what he needs to do with Gear 4. He can go in and out of Gear 4, we know that. He can literally do all these new awesome attacks that he has. He's probably going to bust out a Snake Man soon. That could probably happen. But I feel like as we get further on into the battle, that is when we're going to see Gear 5. I feel like Luffy needs to realise that he's going to have to push. I think he is slowly realising that. Literally, all he's doing is just wearing him down. But I think the reason that I am annoyed is because I generally thought that Luffy would have mastered it. And I'm not pissed at Oda. I really ain't. I think it's just more of the fact that I'm annoyed that I kind of wish that Luffy had it mastered, like complete to the top, 100% mastered. He's not going to suffer anything, so he can just use it whenever he wants. But I don't think that even with mastering Rio, that I think it's just way too powerful for a Gear 4 form. And that is probably what it is. I think that's what Oda's probably trying to showcase us as well, is that Luffy's got all these new attacks, he's got Gear 4, but when you look into it, I think with Gear 5 he will push it, and we will see some awesomeness which I can't wait to see. And I will do a bigger video on it because I feel like it needs to be spoken about as well. I feel like it's something that I need to sort of update it alongside this Gear 5 like video that I've done previously, and to sort of touch on a little bit and then go from there. Anyways, moving on to the final part of the bit I think that everyone really loved apart from the Zoro stuff, with Kaido and Big Mom, and Kaido revealing his hybrid form. We didn't see it. It's all like shadowy and like, you know, gust of winds, and it's like Oda's just done a silhouette of it. But yes, we all knew that Kaido had a hybrid form, and it looks awesome from what we've seen of like the, you know, silhouette. I can't wait to see it, and I'm so glad there's not a break next week. I wouldn't be able to tell you that. No way in hell. I swear to God, Oda, if you divert away from that, I'm going to be so angry. As much as I said I want to see the new Straw Hats, you can't do it this time. Not with what you've just like revealed. No, 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 no. Do not do this to us. Please show us hybrid Kaido. Let's see how beastly this man is. Show us how beast the Yonko are. That is the revenge of the Yonko chapter. I can see it, and I feel like this is where they're going to get their revenge. They're going to clap every single person. Not to the extent they're going to get knocked out like Yakuza 9, but it's going to be harder for them, and I feel like the new generation will be like, oh my God. But then I don't really want to think it like that. I feel like the new generation will still put up a bigger fight, but Luffy's just going to have to be, you know, sat at the back or at the sidelines, because that's who they're going to go after. They know if they take out Luffy, that's the biggest threat taken out. You saw the damage he was doing right at the start of the chapter, just pummeling the crap out of it. Even Eustace Kid said that. Like, this pure power, pure raw strength. So Luffy has got it in him, so they need to save him and make sure he doesn't die. What a wonderful chapter this really was. So overall, yes, I really did enjoy it, and I think that you guys enjoyed it. Like, I think it was a very, very hyped chapter, and I think it's only just going to get better and better as we go along. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to leave it there. If you like this video, smash it with a big fat thumbs up. Let me know down in the comment section below your overall thoughts. What did you think of this chapter? What do you think is going to happen? Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you guys never ever miss a post, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Until then, see ya.